You're listening to the Pep Talk podcast.
Hello everyone, it's me, Rory Paddock for Racing Daily. This is the Turf Talk podcast. It's episode 4 of season 3. Last weekend wasn't a bad weekend. A couple of winners from myself and John. John is currently, this is recorded on a Thursday evening, at Chelmsford tonight. So it's just the three of us. Myself, Toby Darby, and David Lloyd. How are you doing, boys?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, very well, thank you, Rory.
Right, we'll jump straight into it. We've got racing this weekend from Cheltenham. Obviously, Cheltenham's December meeting. We've got racing tomorrow on the Friday. But we're going to look at 3 races all on Saturday. If I bring them up now, let's have a look, see what we've got. So first up, we're going to go to the 150. It's the December Gold Cup Handicap Chase. Raced over 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs. As you can see, betting is on the screen for the course and distance winner. Jaguar is currently the 17th favourite for Ollie Greenall and Josh Guerrero. Then we've got Vincenzo for the informed Sam Thomas yard. Ho Jolie Smokes at 5s. All the way down to Multitour at 16-1, and it's 18-1. But we're going to come to you, David. Where's your money going one there in the 150, mate?
Yeah, it's a bit of a competitive race enough. I just think Jaguar has probably, the fact he was taken out of the Paddy Power Gold Cup based on the ground, and he has done a prep run for this race all season long, makes me to think I want to take him on. And there's a couple of horses I do like, and it's a toss of a coin between Vincenzo and Ho Jolie Smoke for me. Obviously, they both ran in that Paddy Power Gold Cup in November and finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. Obviously, that form has been boosted with Panic Attack going on to win the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury since. Like I said, it's a toss of a coin. It could go either way for these two horses. If you were to pin me down, I'd probably side with Vincenzo. Sam Thomas, as we all know, is a good target trainer, but so is Dan Skelter for Ho Jolie Smoke. So it'll probably be a race where I wait till a day and see what prices develop and see how the market develops. But for now, it's going to be either Vincenzo or Ho Jolie Smoke. I just can't separate either of those two.
Toby, I know you're a bit of a Ho Jolie Smoke fan. Are you going to be sticking with that one?
Yeah, I will. As David said, the Paddy Power Gold Cup form is there for all to see. I'm not sure what the ground's going to be. It's not going to be quick, I don't think, but it's not going to be as much of a bog. I don't think it'll be heavy in places. And that probably wouldn't have been in Ho Jolie Smoke's favour. So I will side with him again. Not much of a surprise, I know. But I think at a price, I'll also give a shout to Il Ridotto. Didn't quite go his way in the Paddy Power. Once again, probably too soft a ground. Loves it here. Loves the course and distance. I think he can run a big race at a big price. But I think Ho Jolie Smoke to win and Il Ridotto each way.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that with Il Ridotto. Course and distance winner, now back to its last winning mark. It's only an 8-year-old. Was perhaps can be forgiven a little bit of its performance last time out. And I think a horse that acts well round here at Cheltenham is a positive. I'd actually probably even hazard a guess at, throw in a couple of pennies, even Garlow's way. All right, it's top weight, and I think that's probably enough to put me off having any sort of serious bet. It's off a mark of 154. That probably seems too high, but the young jockey, Isabel Ryder, takes £7 off. Hopefully that'll sort of somewhat balance it out. I think the jockey's inexperience might be a bit of a negative. Jaguar, if it's fit and ready to go, should be there or thereabouts, obviously, but at 7-2, I couldn't be on it. The Irish Raider Kim Rock, I think, might have a decent chance. Joseph O'Brien, I think it's second to bottom weight, running off a mark of 128, but it's joint bottom weight. So again, if there was each way punters looking for something else, Joseph O'Brien, I don't think I'd be sending it over here just for the sake of it. But I'm with you, Toby. Il Ridotto, currently 12-1. I think that's a decent each way price, about a horse that knows what it is to win around here. And if there's any sort of bets that are offering perhaps an extra place or something like that, perhaps Garlow to sneak into that. But Il Ridotto, my each way bet there in the 150. Moving on, chaps. The next race on the card, the 225, is the Meg Nichols Blog Handicap Chase, sponsored by BetMGM. That's over 2.5 miles a furlong. I want to come to you first, Toby. 9 runners in the race. You can see the betting on the screen at the moment. Anything that takes your fancy?
Excelero did take my fancy, but he's seen a bit of early money, and the each way price has sort of gone. I think he was probably about 8-ish. I would have liked that, but yeah, I mean, if you think about his beginner's chase at the beginning of the season, won by Wade Out. The close second was Wendigo. Excelero was way too keen that day, finished down the field, but has won since. And then Pick Rock, unseated early, has also won. So it's great form. Obviously, people have cottoned onto it. If he drifts out to a bit bigger, maybe I'll have a go. But I would like one at a big price here. He's just on the board there. Sombury. I feel like this horse comes and goes. You either does it from the front, a joy to watch, or doesn't really, get into the rhythm. The last twice he hasn't got into the rhythm, but that's been enough to drop him £3. He's only £2 above his latest winning mark. Jay Tidball rides again, who rode on that occasion. And yeah, I think hopefully a bold show from the front and can hang on to a place, if not good enough to win.
Yeah, for what it's worth, again, I think Excelero has a great chance, like you've mentioned, but perhaps the price at 92 isn't quite there. I think it looks really open race. I know there's just the 9 runners, but I think it's one of those races where, bar perhaps the bottom 2 in the betting, Joker de May, that's actually 50s, and Dr. TJ Eckelberg, that's 33s. Any of the other sort of 7, you wouldn't be overly shocked if they were to come out on top. I want to go with Triple Trade, former course winner, won here last time out after what was, I think it was 250 odd days off. That was off a marker 1-2-3. It's gone up £5 for that win, but it has won a handicap chase off 1-3-5. So it's still sort of £7 well in compared to its best. It seems like it's one of those horses that seems to have been around for ages, but it's actually only a 9-year-old. Joe Tizard seems to be having a decent start to the season. Sam Twiston-Davies, obviously a very experienced and capable rider. And I think 15-2, hopefully get into the top 3. Again, not a race I could be overly confident with, but if it gets into a place, I'll take that at 15-2. Yeah, again, a race that's not too... I couldn't be overly bold about anything in this. Let's say I'm not going to be getting out the checkbook to write 6 figures down and place a bet. But yeah, bit of interest, Triple Trade as an each way punt. David?
Yeah, I found this race quite trappy as well, to be honest, Rory. Like you said, if you can find an each way alternative, guys, at a big price and it comes in, and fair play to you, because I'm struggling with this race, to be honest. Like if we start off with JPR1, who's top weighted in this race, he hasn't had the best start to his season. Obviously, it would have been the Holden Gold Cup would have been his main aim at Exeter earlier on in the season. It obviously came up short then, and he came up short in his last race too, finishing 3rd. Although Joe Tiz and Brendan Paul are in good form at the moment, I'd rather see him perform better before backing him this time. You've mentioned Excelero. I think he's an up-and-coming improver, but I just want to see how he fares in this type of company, especially at Cheltenham. So I'll side with, and it's not a confident selection as such, but I'll side with Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton with Country Mile. I do feel his last race here at Cheltenham, he was jumping fairly okay until the second last and the last, where he made 2 mistakes, and that was because probably the pace had increased a bit. Now, if he has good sight to his fences and gets an early lead, that might settle a bit better. And I think this could be a sort of a target as such in order to get him a handicap mark for the festival, if that's what Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton think. I don't think he's good enough to go into graded company, so you'd be looking at handicaps for the festival for Country Mile. So I think he's 13-2 at the moment, which is a decent each way price if that's the way you bet. So, like I said, if you can find an each way price better than that and it comes in, and fair play to you guys, but I'll stick with Country Mile at 13-2.
So those were our selections for the second race that we're going to be covering. And the third and final race, we're going to go to stick with Cheltenham, the 3 o'clock the Albert Bartlett Bristol Novices Hurdle. Conman John for Lee Lucinda Russell Michael Scudamore team is the 11-8 favourite. They call me Hugo 7-2. 6-1 Reckless Spending. Carlin Rig is 9s. Casino de Mott 18s. Big Cadillac 20s. And It's Something Good 33s. Just the 7 that go to post. It's going to be really boring, but I think it's the favourites to lose. Conman John won its last 2 races. It's won here at Cheltenham before. It's perhaps been a little bit more impressive than most of these in terms of what it's done. Again, another race where I think it's perhaps more of a watching brief for me. I'm not going to be putting on some sort of absolutely max 5-star bet or whatever certain online tipsters sort of claim. If I was looking for one to perhaps go close or nearest one to push, it would be Reckless Spending, but I think I'm perhaps swayed a little bit by the fact that it's represented by, top connections, Nicky Henderson, Nico Wright, but he did finish 3rd of 4 last time out in a maiden hurdle. Whether or not it can do better now, I'm not too sure. It's a big step up into Grade 2 company. I just think Conman John's the one to beat for a reason. And it's going to be really difficult to peg that horse back and it not add an extra course win to its tally. Toby?
So I think the favourite is a good horse and quite perhaps, as you say, talking horse. Maybe did it well last time. But I am going to go with the aforementioned Reckless Spending. Although he finished 3rd, he finished with loads left. It just looked, he was crying out for this step up in trip. He came 2nd in a point-to-point over 3 miles. That winner has since only 3 lengths behind a winner that's since been purchased by Rob Core and won his maiden hurdle not too long ago at odds on. So the step up to 3 miles is sure to suit. If you watched the race last time, I feel like you can just tell he's full of running still. The jockey wasn't motionless, but as he was crossing the line, still had loads left. And I think he can probably has a good chance of upsetting the favourite, especially at the odds. And I wouldn't be opposed to having a bet him without, I'm not sure on the price, but without Conman John, I'd fancy him to beat the rest of them anyway. And whether he can put it up to the favourite, we'll see. But Reckless Spending for me.
And David, I'm just going to throw this question at you. Carlin Rick, 9-1, finished 2nd on debut for the Skeleton team. Worth a punt, I guess, with 7 runners, there's only the 2 places, or would you be more inclined to go elsewhere, mate?
Yeah, I'm not with Dan Skelton in this race, unfortunately, Rory. I'm in the same agreement as you in terms of I think the favourite is going to be tough to beat. I won't back him at that price, but I think he's the obvious winner. And obviously, last time at Cheltenham when he did win, the horse in 5th that day, Casino des Mottes, came out and boosted the form in his next race. So the form is quite strong for Conman John, especially for his last race at Cheltenham. So he'll be the selection. It won't be, like you said, a max bet, or it won't be a big stake whatsoever. But if you were to play each way in this 7-runner field, you're only going to get 2 places each way now, guys. So remember that. So if there was an each way selection value in the race, I'd probably go with the aforementioned Casino des Mottes. Obviously, boosted that form from Conman John's last race at Cheltenham. So the 2 of them, I think, could be the ones to side with in this race. But I wouldn't back Conman John at that price, in my opinion.
Brilliant. So those are our selections for the 3 races at Cheltenham this Saturday. Elsewhere, Toby, obviously there's been really big action over in Hong Kong this past week. You wanted to touch upon that. Obviously some absolute superstar winners. Obviously we, as our sort of resident international racing correspondent, shall we say. A few words on that, mate?
So it's quite fun to see the International Jockey Challenge that they host over in Hong Kong is great, and it really does put some of our jockey challenges to shame. No offense to the Sugar Cup if it's your thing, but the fact they can get the likes of Buick, Barcelona, Moore, then obviously they have the locals, Purton, João Moreira, McDonald, all of them there. It's incredible, and then the fact that builds up to such a big weekend this weekend. Obviously, you have, in my opinion, the greatest horse currently running. Kai Young Rising, definitely the best sprinter, but of course, his expletive odds. I think when I checked the other day, it was 20-1 the field behind him. Absolutely ridiculous. But if you're up or if you're not up, make sure you watch the replay because it will be something special. Romantic Warrior, the same. He had a good battle last month with Voyage Bubble, who now switches to the mile instead of taking on Romantic Warrior. Who can blame him? And it will all round just be a great weekend, hopefully to follow on after a good week after Ryan Moore won the Jockey Challenge. But yeah, all eyes on Hong Kong early Sunday morning.
Heard it here first. Obviously, Toby will be putting up a couple of selections either on our social media or over on our website, so make sure you stay tuned and follow us on our socials. Last thing as well, chaps. Obviously, we've done 3 races at Cheltenham this Saturday, but looking ahead to the weekend, is there any sort of alternative selections or other bets that perhaps you'd be more inclined to follow or that you can throw out there? We'll go to you first, David.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Cheltenham for my other bets, guys. Again, I got 2 on Friday that I really do like. It comes in the first and the last as well. So the first race is where I go to begin with. It's Friday, 12:05, and I like Kingston Queen, the only mare in this race for David Pipe. Jack Tudor will ride. She's currently 5-2, and she was taken out of her last race at Newbury, her intended target last time out, due to a self certificate of the temperature. She won't mind the goodness of going at the moment, which is probably going to be the case tomorrow. She's 5-2. She was going to be a short price favourite in her race at Newbury before being taken out. So this is another sort of alternative race she can go and win. So she'll be the first one, and then the lucky last on Friday at 3:35. I'm going to side with another favourite, but it's Lucky Manifest. I think he will go. He will be fine. He will be my selection. Stan Shepherd rides for the informed Tom Lacey, and I think they will be winning the last at Cheltenham on Friday. So they're my 2: Kingston Queen and Lucky Manifest.
Yeah, I'll have to second that with Kingston Queen. I actually tipped the horse up when it was meant to be running the other weekend. Obviously, it was withdrawn that day. I think currently 5-2 for tomorrow's race. Seems relatively generous, actually. But that's not going to be my sort of like alternative selection. I'm going to go to Saturday. I'm going to be a bit out there. I'm actually going to go to Newcastle on the all-weather. Not sticking with the top class racing. I'm going to be going for some low-grade action. It's 6:15 out. I think it's called Outrun the Storm. I think it represents Richard Fahey. Last time it raced here at Newcastle, it finished a really credible 3rd in a Class 4 race. That was off a mark in the 70s. Now, it's not raced here at Newcastle since then. Now back to Newcastle, off a mark of 63. It's got so much more weight in hand. Drops in grade. I think it raced at Class 4 company, now down to Class 5 or 6. Finished 3rd 2 starts ago, albeit on turf. So it's carried some degree of form this summer. And I just think, I'm hoping, the prices aren't out yet, I'm hoping it's an each way price. If it is, I'll be all over it. I wouldn't be as confident if it was, say, 7-2, 4-1. But if it's, say, 5-1 or bigger, and it's an each way bet to nothing, I'd absolutely, I'll throw a few pennies that way. But Outrun the Storm at 6:15 on Saturday. Toby, your best for the weekend?
I think that makes it 3 votes for Kingston Queen. I definitely think she's going to go off shorter. And yeah, I think a good bet in a fairly, I don't want to say straightforward field, but there's a few outsiders in there that you could easily look past. I would like to mention 2 others. Henry's Friend in the handicap chase on Friday, 150. Long press has to carry a lot of weight. It gives over a stone to the field and more. Henry's Friend has been fairly well backed so far, but still a decent price, 6-1 I'm looking at here. Won at Ascot last time, and I think he can follow up. And then this is more of I'm surprised to see the drift early. Am I right in the cross-country race, 3 o'clock? There's been loads of money for an Emmett Mullins horse, so it'll probably go off 6-4 and win. But Am I Right is a big price. I'm not sure he's been over the banks before, maybe once in Ireland, but isn't a regular. We'll enjoy the good ground because don't forget they can't water on the cross-country course. So we've had bits of rain, but nothing crazy. And Am I Right loves good ground. So I think with the extra places, you can get 5 here, 16-1. Am I Right?
Yeah, happy days. Am I right? Obviously finished fourth in the Grand National, so it knows how to jump a big fence. Albeit, like you said, I don't think it's ever tackled the cross country fences. But those are our selections for Saturdays. Obviously, 3 major races at Cheltenham, and a few selections from Friday, and one on the all weather from myself. I've been Rory Paddock, they've been Toby Darby and David Lloyd. Make sure you follow us on socials at racingdaily_com. Follow us at www.racing-daily.com. Thanks for watching, and we will be back next week.